How are you actively working to reframe your perspective and your natural default for who you want to become? See, our perspective is everything in life. Think about sports. When the season ends, some teams make the playoffs, some teams don't. 2 teams make the championship game, a lot of teams don't. And a lot of times players can leave the season thinking, woe is me, this sucks, I've got an off season, time to go party, I'm not going to worry about anything else. Or they can look at their off season and think, man, I didn't make the championship. I'm disappointed. But what I did do is get an extra month to 2 months to improve my game for next year. I can get back in the gym. I can work with a trainer. I can build a new skill set before next season. See, they can waste their time complaining about the opportunity they missed out on to be in that next playoff round, to be in the championship round, or they can look at it and say, now I've got a few extra weeks to be better prepared for next year. Now, I'm not saying they ignore the disappointment and heartbreak of losing in the playoffs or not making the playoffs, but what I am saying is they don't wallow in it for months on end. They instead reframe their opportunity to say, now how can I use this time to get better? It's the same approach I had to take when COVID hit over a year ago. And I watched all of my 2020 speaking calendar disappear almost overnight. I paid back clients. I looked at my calendar that was now suddenly bare. And I was pretty upset in the moment. I remember I shared with a number of you how disappointed and just mentally beat down I was that day. But what I did is I implemented the midnight rule. And I wrote down the 3 things I was going to do the next morning when I woke up to take advantage of the time I was now going to be home. See, I started reframing my situation. Instead of saying, man, woe is me, look at all this stuff I lost, this sucks. I said, how can I use the next 6 months that I would have been traveling in airports and on airplanes that I will now be at home to advance the business, to build my influence, and to better impact people on what it means to compete every day. I started finding things that I could do, opportunities that I could take advantage of, programs and content that I could create that would help you. And so that's how I chose to reframe the negative situation. Yeah, it sucked. It was pretty terrible cutting a lot of those checks back to clients. What I did realize is wallowing in it, whining about it, crying about it, complaining wasn't going to change the situation. But reframing my perspective on it gave me an opportunity to improve my positioning for this time this year, which is exactly what that stuff did. So how is your perspective right now? Are you guilty of catching yourself in that negative inner dialogue, complaining, whining, crying about when things aren't going your way? Are you choosing to reframe it? Look for the opportunities so that you can still show up and compete to get better. The only thing that's in your control is your attitude, your effort, and your actions. See, it's in our response to negative situations and how we respond with our attitude, our effort, and our actions that determine where we ultimately go in life. Everyone suffers disappointment. Everyone will go through failures, but what separates champions from everyone else is how they choose to respond to it with their controllables. So reframe your situation. Look for the opportunities to get better and then compete to take advantage of them. Go win your day, competitor. I'm cheering for you.